Kyle Meyer, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Ryan.
I appreciate you coming out today.
Anytime, buddy.
I'm actually pretty excited about having you on because, we do business together.
Oh, yeah.
Like me and you, we do business together. But I have between my gym, my rentals, my billboards, my personal house, my personal cars, I've had quite a few different insurance companies. And growing up, I had quite a few different insurance companies too. And so I know a lot of people in the insurance world.
Sure.
A lot of different companies. And I was doing auto body for a long time. So I wasn't like on the claim side of it, but I definitely worked with insurance companies a lot closer than most people do. But I tried reaching out. I have one insurance agent that I use for that. I've taken Pool to a lot, and I've tried to get him on the podcast. Couldn't get him on the podcast. I've tried to get some others on the podcast, but you were one that you reached out to me.
Sure, I did.
And me and you, we do business together through more than just insurance.
Yep.
Like we do it through a few other things too. But you reached out to me and you're like, hey, I want to do this podcast.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, I'm down whenever. And we finally made it happen. It took a few months, but we finally made it happen.
And I appreciate it tremendously being able to hop on here and talk with you, Ryan. It's very important. Insurance, obviously, on your worst day, your insurance agent better be your best friend, right?
Yeah.
Your worst day is whenever you find out, hey, do I have the correct coverage? We obviously don't ever want to use insurance, but unfortunately we do.
Yeah, and the thing with insurance is that it's something that nobody knows a lot about it.
Yeah.
Like the average person, I would say, knows very little about it. But that's where it gets scary, because when they get in an accident or something happens, they need someone they can rely on, someone that they can trust when they call, that they're going to handle the situation properly, because it's a scary thing. I've seen people get in accidents where like, I don't even want to deal with insurance because they're scared of what's going to happen. They're scared of their rates going up. They're scared of their car not getting fixed right.
Sure.
They're scared of getting like screwed over. So I really don't know what it is about it, but it is kind of intimidating.
It is.
And you really don't know what's in your policy. You know what's in your policy.
Yeah.
And that's why they got to trust you to do it.
That's exactly right. So the way I actually operate my insurance business is it's real simple. As soon as somebody walks in my office, I'm just going to show you real quick. I'm going to draw a circle. And this is a circle of life, right? We got our home up here. Don't worry about the drawing.
So if you guys are just listening, Kyle's got a piece of paper. He's drawing a circle on the center of the piece of paper, and he's got a house at the top of the circle.
And then we're going to do your car over here. Don't mind my chicken scratch, which again, this is what I call the circle of life, circle of insurance.
Yep.
And over here,
he's got a car on one side of the circle.
And over here, we're going to have the boat,
East side,
boat, camper, etc., side by sides, four wheelers. Which obviously down here at the bottom, Ryan, is the very most important with insurance, right? This is me and my wife and both of my boys. Okay, so whenever you come into my office, the very first thing, I have tons of people every day that come in my office. I need a quote. I need the cheapest insurance I can get. I understand that, and I do understand that. But on your worst day, Kyle has to be your best friend. So whether or not that I'm going to be the cheapest, that's all dictated on the person. But I promise you, we're going to talk about this circle. We're going to move from the cars. We're going to move to the home. Maybe you don't own a home. Maybe you rent. If you do rent, I'm talking to all the viewers out here. If you do rent for as little as not going to the gas station 2 times a month, maybe for less than one case of beer, case of soda in today's world, $11 a soda. You know, why would you not have a little renter's insurance policy at $20,000-$30,000? Might cost you $9 a month. I mean,
I tell all my tenants that I have insurance on the house. I don't have insurance on their stuff.
Yeah.
They need to go out and get their own renter's insurance.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So we get through the car, the home, and the side by side, the four wheeler, the camper. We get down here into our family. So my wife drives back and forth to the city every day, right? We're in the middle of building our brand new home. Getting ready to we're going to pour the basement floor. It was supposed to be yesterday, but it rained all day. Yes, we do have a mortgage financed on our home loan. So with that being said, if my wife, she's at a high risk, she's traveling down Highway 28 to 50 on 44 to Fenton every single day. So she has that risk exposure. With that being said, on my worst day, my worst fear would be my wife ever involved in a collision and my wife being killed. These are the things people don't like to talk about. Sometimes, even though whenever I have a new customer come in my office, I'll make you feel a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, and you have to do it a little bit because everybody has that, oh, well, it's not going to happen to me kind of attitude.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks that they're not going to get in an accident. It's not going to happen to you. Or it's a 1 in a million chance that you're going to get in an accident. Well,
Sure.
Guess what? It's going to happen to you.
It's going to happen.
It will happen.
Yep.
Almost everybody's been in an accident.
Yep.
Almost everybody's had some type of life traumatic experience, like something
Absolutely.
that you need insurance for.
Absolutely. And so that's why, whenever at that point in time, we're gonna talk to you about, I'm gonna ask you, do you have life insurance? I have it. Doesn't cost me nothing through work. Wonderful. That is wonderful. And I highly advise anybody and everybody to take as much free or as cheap life insurance as they can. But here's the problem with that. So my wife, she works in the local 2 union. If she gets, say she's involved in a bad car wreck, she becomes crippled and in essence is how do I say it on air, but to where she would never be able to go to her job and her job gets cut. When my wife's job gets cut, she's going to lose that life insurance policy, right? Mm-hmm. So then by the time that now I would bring her into my insurance agent's office and say, hey, I need $250,000 worth life insurance policy on her. The problem is at that point in time, it's too late. Now she's uninsurable. So,
and can we say why?
We're going to say,
we talk about why?
Because she's too high risk.
Yeah, because now she has pre-existing conditions that are going to cause it to go up.
Yeah, that and even if I'm gonna talk to you here in just a second about how I start these. I started all off with the kids. As soon as somebody's pregnant, and I'm so happy and so excited. It's the happiest time as a mother and father's life, bringing a child into this world. I know personally with my boys, especially the youngest one, which he's just turned, 14, 15 months old now. Well, within a few minutes, I was in the hospital, and I'd actually called my secretary, and I had we start them off with the junior special, okay? And we're going to talk. We're going to go into this portion, and then we're going to move into the rate increases, things like that.
Okay.
So
let me do one thing.
Yeah,
Kyle.
go for it.
So anyone that's listening right now, This is something I never do for myself. I never plug myself on the podcast. But if you guys are listening right now, if you guys are on YouTube, especially if you guys are on YouTube, literally just take a second, pause the video, subscribe to the channel, because that's what's going to help me. I need to get to 1,000 subscribers. I'm at 250 right now. It's literally free. All you got to do is click the button. You don't have to have notifications. Once you click subscribe, you never have to see any of my videos ever again if you don't want to. Or you can watch as many as you want, but it's literally free. It helps me grow.
Sure.
I'm a quarter of the way to my goal right now, so if you guys could, please subscribe.
Absolutely.
Sorry for cutting you off, Kyle.
No, you're good. I
had to plug
appreciate that. You opening this opportunity up for me to get on here and talk is amazing. I highly advise all my friends, family, clients, etc., to get on here and like and subscribe.
Cool.
Ryan's podcast.
Do it. Listen to him.
So we're going to talk about, as soon as we find out we're going to be pregnant. Life insurance is, again, don't like to talk about it, but we want to start it as a child. As soon as that baby's born, which our company, Shelter Insurance here in Owensville, Missouri, we have what's called junior specials. Okay, a $20,000 life insurance policy for a kid's one-time payment, $555. That's wonderful, right? We don't ever want to have to use this. This policy's good until the age of 26. But what this does is it carries a guaranteed insurability rider, meaning that if God forbid my kid ever developed a brain cancer, type of diabetes, etc., that they'd be declined or rated up. At that point in time, we would have the parent come into my office, sit down. We're going to write them up to 5 times the face amount. So we'd write a $100,000 life insurance policy at the best possible rate that that we offer.
And how much you say it was?
It's $555 once. You can pay it monthly. You can pay it, make 4 quarter payments, or you can pay it semi-annually.
$555.
That's all it is.
One time.
One time. It's
for this junior life
for the
insurance.
junior special. So if you break that out over, as soon as my son's born, if I take a look at that, it costs me $20 a year, a little bit less than $20 a year.
You can break that up.
No, it's a one-time payment, 12-month payment, or quarterly payment, or semi-annual.
Okay, still stupid cheap.
It's
crazy cheap.
It really
now,
is.
how what is the deadline? Does it have to be before they're born?
Before from basically what I like to tell everybody is as soon as they leave the hospital to the age of 15.
Oh, you can get it up to 15
up to the
years
age of
old?
15.
Holy cow.
That's why I said it's very important.
$555. You guys can find an extra $555 to invest in your child like that.
Yes, and that's what it truly is yes, the death benefit is there. We hope that never has to be used, but it does. This is real life world. You know, people don't like to talk about anybody dying, especially our children, but it happens. So from the junior special, now maybe I'm gonna write you have a 16-year-old child. So what we have is an easy term life insurance policy. So for a young man, this is for the age of 15 to 40. A young man that doesn't do tobacco products, you're talking about $11.77 a month, or $138.50 a year, or a female $9.78. This is a $50,000 policy. What it does is, if the parent comes to me, they have 3 or 4 autos. Basically, by the time I put in the discount on the cars, I'm pretty much giving you a $50,000 policy for the kids. So
whenever you whenever you get this, it's easy term is what it's called, life insurance. Is that like a combo package type deal? Whenever you go to get a car, is there like a combo?
It's really not a combo package, but whenever I'm about to write the business, and I kind of like to offer it kind of like a bundle, but it's not really. But whenever I actually break it down for the folks that do pay their insurance monthly, over the course of 3 or 4 cars that they have, this policy is pretty much just given to them for free.
So it's $11.77 a month
for a kid, or for a boy.
For a boy, and it's even cheaper for a girl.
It is. It's
$9.78. 78 cents.
Yep.
So that's every single month.
It is.
Till they're 26, or is that the rest of their life?
So that'll be from that policy. This is more or less a term policy from the age of, if they're over the age of 15 years and 1 day old, and as long as you pay the premium per year, it'd be good up to the age of 40. So these are really, really simple life insurance policies, and life insurance would be probably a total separate podcast that I would be absolutely happy to come in and talk about. I'm very passionate.
You don't want to dig too much into it.
No, I don't. So, and especially, I just wanted to hit.
Well, that's stupid cheap, though.
It really is.
Stupid cheap.
It really is.
Now, let's touch a little bit before we move on. Yeah. I know you got something else you want to talk about. But how long you got today? You got an hour?
However long we
Okay.
need.
Okay. I like to keep them around like an hour and a half for a bunch of different reasons. Sure. So where was I going? Oh, so life insurance through an insurance company versus a life insurance through an investment company. Do you know the difference? Is there like a difference there? Or because I remember looking into it, I had someone reach out to me from an investment company, and they were basically saying that I could say if I was in for 15 years.
Yep.
And I don't remember how long. Like say it's a 30-year life insurance plan.
Is it a term policy?
I don't remember.
30-year term, probably.
Probably. Mm-hmm. But they were saying that if at any time I could pull money back out of it, I could use it. And it's tax-free, too. Is that the same way with
no,
it's different.
No, yeah, and you kind of got to pay attention, really read the fine print on there, because anytime that you have cash value built up within a whole life policy, something like that, before the age of 59 and a half, you're going to start getting stuck with the taxes and stuff like that. Now there's certain different policies where you take a loan from that policy.
Sure.
So Yeah, I don't know. That's something new.
So with these life insurance plans through Shelter, are they say a kid gets injured or has diabetes? Can they use this out? Is this like an extra package outside of it, or how's it working as coverage?
This will be the death benefit on a junior special. That's what it is, and that's why, again, carrying that guaranteed insurability rider. That is what is the most important. Why we start the kids off with it.
Yeah, that should be something that, like, I feel like should be especially the junior special.
Yeah, that's
for $555.
Yeah. It's one
that
and
almost
done.
should be just in your hospital bill.
It should be.
You know what I'm saying?
Really
like,
should be.
Like, because nobody wants to think about, like,
No.
something happened to their child, but it happens, right?
It does.
And it's going to cost you way more than $555.
It will, and the thing about it is that's the worst day ever of a parent's life.
I couldn't imagine.
I couldn't either.
I could not. I hope I never have to.
We don't want to
know
think.
what it's like.
We don't want to think about it, but at the end of the day, it does happen, and it's reality. The worst thing that somebody would ever want to think about is on that day is how am I going to be able to pay for the funeral, right?
And be in a position, because not everyone's in a position where money
you can just
comes by
write a
easily.
$10,000 check,
Yes.
and that's why, again, this, and I know I talk to everybody, and I don't push people because that's not the type of insurance agent that I am, but I try to make sure that everybody understands how important this particular policy is. Forgot where I was gonna say to you about that. So going back to the funeral, that portion of the life insurance, the average, I think in today's world, what is an average funeral? About $12,000, 10 to 12. Then you got to pay for the headstone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
It can't be cheap.
It can't be cheap. I'm gonna say probably $5,000-6,000. I don't know. I haven't checked on it for probably 10 or 11 months, something like that.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
It's not cheap either way.
You don't want
this is the first time I've ever known about that.
And there's a lot of folks that and I don't keep up with social media nearly as well as I should. I do have a Kyle Meyer Shelter Insurance Agency page. I ask everybody to get out there and join and like it. But I'm terrible with social media.
Sure.
I'm a lot better with
Well, there's people out there that you can pay to do that now, right?
Yeah, I do.
And honestly, the more I grow in business and the more I start to do, did you see the Sam Lowe podcast?
I did.
She's a big one
Yeah.
that I'm working really hard right now to grow some avenues that I can come up with enough money that's coming in to where I can just pay her
Sure.
to run everything for me. Because I still want to be involved in it, but the amount of consumption that it takes whenever you're trying to run everything else
time, yeah.
is so much.
It is.
And to try to keep up with it all, it's its whole world. It's a
Yeah.
whole nother world. But it's almost part of it. This joint or this junior special, I mean, it's something that I feel like is so simple just to put, like, for $555, we'll cover up to.
It is.
How much does it cover
It's
up to?
$20,000.
$20,000.
Yeah.
And it's just a simple post and just, like, put it up
Yeah.
every now and then. And I'm sure I don't have kids. So maybe like when there might be something when people are starting to have kids, maybe
Yeah.
it starts to come up a little bit more. But I still think there's a lot of people out there that
There is.
that need to be informed of something that's so cheap.
Yeah, I know. And to be able to give, it's basically giving the gift of it's designed, so the policy is designed to get our kids through school, through high school, if they choose to go to college or a tech program, etc. And then once they get done with that by the age of 23, 24 years old, at that point in time, then they can come in and sit down with me, and then we would write say $100,000 whole life insurance policy or something equivalent to that, where they don't have to draw the blood, pee in a cup, and do what we call paramed. So
And I'm sure me and you both know somebody that passed away before 26.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And it's sad, and you never think it'll ever happen. You never want it to happen, but It happens.
It does.
So
It's
look
fine.
into it, you guys.
It is.
Get a hold of Kyle.
You bet. I appreciate that.
So you want to talk about why the hell these freaking rates are going up on
Yeah.
everybody? Like
Yeah.
why whenever you're just sitting at home, you come home from work one day and you get your mail and you're like, hopefully it's just all junk. And then you get a thing from your insurance company, and all of a sudden, boom, everything went up. And you're like, I didn't get no accidents. Nothing's happened. What the hell's changing?
Yep.
You want to talk about
I do. So the biggest reason that I am here today is, and we're going to talk about the auto insurance. Auto insurance in this past year has been absolutely crazy, right? We're seeing pretty much every company across the United States is taking auto rate increases. Everybody, I get phone call after phone call and have to talk to everybody, and that's my job, and I love it. I love talking with all my clients. I actively try to reach out. We had a rate increase last spring in April, and we had a second rate increase in October. There's lots of reasons why, and here's the biggest.
Can you also maybe give us some ideas just ideas on how maybe you could save some money? How some people could save some money on
That's
this stuff
the biggest thing. I highly encourage.
Like what they need to look for when they're buying a car.
Yeah.
Or wanting to add something to their fleet of cars or whatever.
Sure.
How can they save money when they're going to look for a new car? That would be helpful too.
It is.
We'll talk about that after, but yeah.
Because I really want to stress on these. Let me ask everybody a question. Why did your insurance go up? I get that phone call 2 or 3 times a day. And I highly encourage you, if you're sitting here, your viewers out here watching us, and you're all of a sudden, now this is clicking, why did my insurance go up so much? Every insurance company took the auto rate increases. Some of them took 1, some took 2, some took 4. Auto parts prices. You have these collisions. A collision, 2 years ago, I'll tell you one personally. My wife hit a deer with my old farm truck, right? It just needed a new front bumper and a front grille and the one little headlight it broke out. Get the estimate back. I was thinking, well, Kyle's just going to write a check out of his own pocket and pay for it. I got that estimate back. I said, unfortunately, I'm going to have to use my insurance. It was $4,350 something bucks.
Yeah.
And the shop owner told me, 2 years ago we could have done that same job for $1,100. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're dealing with auto parts prices doubled, tripled. Shop labor rates have skyrocketed following inflation. Same with your homeowner insurance. If you notice your monthly mortgage payment might have went up $20-$30, something like that. Look at your homeowner policy, and then and I would highly encourage everybody to reach out. You should have a personal relationship with your insurance agent. Period.
Yeah,
Period.
You should know them very well.
You should know them. I know I have a lot of folks come into my office. I need the price quote. I need the cheapest of the cheapest. That's okay, but they're gonna sit down and they're gonna listen to me, and I'm gonna explain every single step of their auto policy so that they understand that. Because again, we're going back to your worst day, I have to be your best friend. So shop labor rates, auto parts prices, maybe it's something so simple that, are you driving 15,000 miles this year? Is your young driver still in the house?
I'm sure some of it has to do with the average cost of a vehicle.
It is
Also even
It is
much higher.
Inflation prices.
And everyone, you hate to just say inflation, because
Right.
it's just inflation.
Yeah.
Why is inflation going up? Well, the guys in the shop want higher pay.
Yep.
The owner of the shop wants to make more money.
Sure.
The guys that are making the parts, like the body panels and the paint, like PPG.
Oh, yeah.
And all these guys that are making the parts, Ford, Dodge, Chevy, the ones that are shipping it to the shop to get fixed, they're wanting to make more money.
Oh, yeah.
But not only are they wanting to make more money, the people that are making the metal that goes into making the parts that are selling the Chevy, Ford, and Dodge and all these aftermarket companies, they want to make more money. They want to, their employees want to make more money. So everybody's demanding more and more. Everybody's, and so everybody has got to bump up the price a little bit. And it all trickles down the line.
It does.
From the very get-go, from whoever the truck driver is that goes and gathers the material to make the material, that takes the material to the company that gets made. That guy, that trucker wants to get paid more.
Yep.
You know, and it all trickles down because they're like, let's just hand it off to the next guy. Let's hand it off to the next guy. And you know who gets the short end of the stick?
Yeah, and that's,
We do.
That's right, and that is right, and that's why again these insurance companies, they're all in the negatives on their auto losses last year, and it kind of started towards the middle to end of the year of 2021, and anytime that these insurance companies are losing money, you can bet your butt that you're going to see some rate increases, see some fluctuation with rate prices. Not everybody took a rate increase.
Yeah.
But
I didn't. I know I didn't.
Sure,
honestly.
that's good.
My house went up.
Yep.
But my cars didn't go
That's
up.
excellent.
Yeah.
Because a lot of
I'll probably get a notice in the mail tomorrow.
and it's very possible, but you hope you don't.
Yeah.
But if you do, I would highly encourage you go sit down, do a policy review. That's the biggest thing. I've seen folks that have sold a vehicle a year ago and are still paying insurance on it.
I've done that before.
Well, and
I did that with a house, actually.
oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
That's pretty significant. But I understand, and there's ways to fix all that. But it's very good that at least once a year you go down, you schedule. And again, I like to, you look how this is how I dress for my job every single day. I don't wear a suit and tie because if I did, everybody around my local area is going to probably look at me and think that what happened to Kyle, right? So I want them to feel comfortable, and I want people to schedule an appointment because, yes, I'm always in my office, right? But there's a lot of times that I am not. And whenever I'm not in my office, it's not because I'm out messing around. It's because I go to folks' homes. A lot of my older folks, I'll go sit down. You might have an hour scheduled out of your day, but then 3 hours later, you're still with them. I have that personal relationship with pretty much everybody that's in my book of business, and I love it. It's what I do.
I feel like that's important in business.
It is.
You got to go a step beyond.
It is. Because it's, I have a lot of these folks that get on maybe you can get on the Progressive Insurance Company and you can quote your own insurance. And that's great. I think that's a wonderful scenario if you understand insurance, right? Because I'm seeing a lot of folks that are, that rate's a lot cheaper, we're going to go that route. But then they have a collision and maybe say they have Missouri state minimum insurance is $2,550 on bodily injury and then $25,000 property damage. But if you hit a $75,000 brand new truck, guess who's going to be held liable for it? So it's them simple things that people don't understand the importance of insurance, and I'm here trying to reach out to everybody in my community and to really take it serious because it's a very serious matter.
Can we talk about the three main types of coverage? Is there three main types?
As far as
auto insurance? The way I look at auto insurance is, and you can correct me anywhere I'm wrong because I probably am wrong.
No, you're good.
Liability, which covers whoever you hit. And then there's full coverage that covers both
You'll
you
have
guys.
Collision and comprehensive. That's going to be.
And then comprehensive.
Yeah.
Is comprehensive, is
So,
it liability, comp, and then full coverage? Is that how it goes?
So whenever we say full coverage, as me and you talk about it, you're having collision and you're having comprehensive on your auto policy. So let's talk about the difference between collision and comp because a lot of folks don't understand that. Collision is we're driving up and down the road. Deer runs across the road, stops, looks, and we lock our brakes up and swerve off the road and we hit the tree. Okay, That's a collision. That's probably going to on your motor vehicle record going to carry a collision. You're going to see a rate.
It looks like I got an accident,
That's
even
correct.
though I swerved to miss the deer. To miss the collision, you would think in your head.
That's right.
You're actually the one wrecking the car.
That's correct. So what I tell everybody, and I don't say it jokingly, but I do. I want you to hit the deer. You hit as many deer as you want to.
I've seen so many people swerve to miss deer, coons. I'm like,
No.
Hit the animal.
Run them over.
Hit the animal.
I lightly apply the brakes. I
Yeah.
want to pay for your car. I don't want to have to pay for your wife or for your family.
Yeah.
For your life, and so because again we talk going in, we can sit and talk insurance for weeks and months about the risk factor on hitting the deer versus the. Now people do die from hitting deer.
Yeah.
You know, deer
they'll
rolls.
jack a car up.
They will. They will. Absolutely.
I've seen them. I've seen them total out cars
Yep,
before.
absolutely.
They will just. I mean, hit us. They'll hit a front of a car,
Mm-hmm.
crinkle it completely in, destroy radiator, and then like whip around the car and just destroy the whole side of the car. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, it'll total out a car.
It does, especially
even coons and
coons.
everything.
Coons with a small car are absolutely terrible.
Because they get down low and they rip all that. Like the front bumper on a car is nothing.
Yeah.
They have an impact absorber on it, but the coons usually miss it.
Yeah.
And they just go right through the bottom of the bumper and shred right through the radiator and just tear everything up.
Yeah.
Wires, radiator. I mean, just everything goes to hell.
And as the armadillos keep making their way up towards us, armadillos are pretty detrimental. So collision. You know, if you cause a collision with somebody, that's going to fall under the collision, and collision is going to.
So is there liability, comprehensive,
And
collision?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so liability, you're going to have your bodily injury, property damage, then you're going to still have med pay. Med pay is going to pay you and everybody else within the vehicle. So you have a collision and you go a chiropractor for a month, something like that. That's where your med pay money could.
It will cover
it will,
something
yeah.
like that.
Mm-hmm. Yep, for
Okay.
you and everybody that's in the car. And then you have uninsured and underinsured, and that's what's going to, somebody driving around that hits you doesn't have insurance. You know, that's whenever you're uninsured motorist or state minimum insurance will still fall underneath your uninsured.
So if somebody hits me and I have liability, but they don't have insurance,
Yeah.
there's coverage there?
So the uninsured motorist, and I'd have to double check on how
It's a gray area.
It is. Well, yes and no. I'll get back with you on that.
Okay.
Yeah,
We won't have to dig into that.
Well, we'll touch base on that because that is as far as the uninsured motorist, there'd be coverage for the bodily injury per se, property damage. It should pay out. Yeah, I would think it. I would think it will.
Because that's always like whenever I had, because I've carried liability for so long.
Sure.
And mainly just because I was just a broke kid. I could never afford anything else. And that's a big reason why I got an auto body.
Yep.
Because I'm like, if I wreck it, I'll just fix it myself.
yourself.
And I mean, really, nowadays it doesn't pay out to do it. But yeah, I just always figured like if I hit somebody else, as long as I have liability, it'll
Sure.
pay for their car, right? That's a for sure. Thing.
It'll pay for their car, your property damage. It'll pay for up to them limits, and then the bodily injury as well.
Gotcha.
You bet.
And then comp, when you have comp,
Comp is going to be so everything other than having a collision. So if you,
so everything liability.
say your truck's sitting out here, a tree limb just drops out and destroys your truck. That's comprehensive is going to pick that
Anything
up.
natural.
Anything natural. Act
So
of
running
God.
into a deer.
Yep. Wind, hail, lightning, things like that.
Gotcha.
You bet.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I never really thought about. I always just thought of it as like a deer. That's what it's like. I feel like is.
Yep. Theft will fall under comprehensive.
Really?
Somebody comes and steals your pickup or car. You bet.
What if they just break into it in the middle of the night?
Comprehensive.
But you
So
still have
com-
a deductible on.
You'll
top
have
of that.
you'll have a deductible, and that's if they break into it and they go to destroying everything. But now, say that I'm a big bow hunter, deer hunter. I'm a hunting, fishing machine, right? So in some of my deer rifles, including I have 2 Matthews bows. One is brand new, very expensive products, right?
What's a Matthews bow cost? One like that.
$2,600. Yeah, by the time it's all set up, something like
Yeah.
Jody, sorry, she did $1,500.
Sure.
That's what my wife thinks. So, but with that being said, you would in inland marine policy. I highly recommend to everybody. I have a lot of hunters and fishermen. In inland marine policy through my homeowners. Is what I put them expensive guns and stuff, because if that gun if that gun is sitting in your truck and the truck they smash a window in, try destroying it, etc., but they steal that gun just off your auto policy, then there's not going to be any coverage for the gun.
Okay, but you got to have the guns.
I would
and
write
everything.
I'll write
under
an
the home.
I write an inland marine policy for that, because that follows my brand new bow with me everywhere that I go in the United States of America. So we like go out to Colorado and go bow hunting. If I trip and fall and destroys my bow, I have a $0 deductible. They'll
Cool.
get me set back up.
Yeah, but I bet a lot of people didn't know that.
Probably not.
But they didn't know they could cover stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Guns, archery equipment. Your homeowner's gonna cover up to $2,500 worth of theft.
That's it?
It is worth of theft.
Yeah.
But now, if there's a fire, things like that, it's going to fall under your personal property contents,
Sure.
under your homeowner. So that's why, again, I have some very expensive rod and reels. Need to put them under an inland marine policy because they go with me everywhere that I go.
Now, do you have to have a new policy for each?
No,
it's a bundle.
Yeah,
package.
it
You
is.
Put it all in the same
It
one.
is, yeah. On an
Just so
inland.
someone doesn't steal it all.
That's right. Well, and it happens, but like my wife's wedding ring, it's a very expensive wedding ring, but that's under an inland marine policy as well.
Gotcha.
Same. So we just, if we have a claim, say we lose a freaking thing, and
Yeah.
it does happen.
Yeah.
Then there'd be, depending on what your deductible is, get it paid. It'll pay up to the amount that's covered for.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, because those things ain't cheap.
No, not in today's
But
world.
even if she loses it,
Yeah, if
you could claim it?
Yeah, if she loses it, she would call her insurance agent, me, and then I'd put the claim in. And
How do they keep that from going to fraud all the time, though? How do they keep people from
they do
cheating the
they
system?
do still have there's anytime there's a claim, they shelter every insurance company, not just Shelter, but they're gonna do their own little investigation. Again, I was telling Ryan earlier, I had a incident not last weekend, a weekend before, Lake of the Ozarks, with a client of mine. That's another good perk of being a client of Kyle Myers is big time into crappie fishing, and I just did put the live scope on the bass boat. A lot of my clients they really like to go take a day with their insurance agent. We can talk business, but we can still
fish
and
Fish all
catch a
day.
lot of crappie.
Because, who doesn't like fishing?
Right.
If they don't like fishing, they probably never been fishing.
Yeah.
I've never been crappie fishing. Never been out on a boat fishing before.
I need to take you.
You should take me. I'd love to go sometime.
The crappie fishing right now on Lake of the Ozarks, was always amazing in the wintertime. But since the new Garmin Live Scopes come out, I was like, whenever it first was put out, I kind of pretty much hated it. And then about a month ago, I looked at my wife and I told her, I said, Jody, I have to have this in order to compete. I fit bass tournament fish,
Mm-hmm.
and in order to compete, I have to be able to see what's going on. And it's great tool for bass fishing, but for crappie fishing, it's so much fun because it really shows you how many is there, and it's pretty neat to be able to watch your jig. And
Because
that coming
without
in.
it, you don't know if you're wasting your time
Right.
in that area.
Yeah. It takes your fishing time. If they're not there, we're not going to pull over and make a cast.
And the Lake of the Ozarks, is it just...
It's
Is
unreal.
it? Is it?
It is unreal. The crappie fishing.
Everybody always goes there.
And another good friend of mine, best friend of mine, Derek Tyree, give him a big shout out with First State Community Insurance. He's a commercial lines producer now. He's one of your top crappie guys, and he knows the live scope, understands it, and
Yeah, him and Bill Floyd just went to the lake.
him and Bill just went.
Past weekend.
Yep, and it's just it's awesome.
Yeah, I'd like to go sometime.
We can arrange that.
Dude,
Ryan.
like for the Lake of the Ozarks, what do they do with the lake up there? I mean, it's just they don't have it's so massive. It's just its own
huge.
ecosystem, right?
Yeah.
It just does its own thing.
56,000 acres, I think, something
That's
like that.
nutty.
It is.
Yeah, that it's nutty, and so it's just so interesting how massive it really is, and because people fish it all the time
Every day.
and you would think it would get to the point where they would start like it would get
Being conditioned.
yeah.
And I really do believe that the bass fishing.
They don't stock it though, do they?
No, don't.
Can't
It
stock
doesn't
that.
need to be stocked because we always have fairly good spawns, and
It's just so massive.
it's
that-
huge.
That they have. You can't get all the fish out of it.
You're not going to catch them all.
Even if guys, because
No.
guys do go there every day and fish.
Yep, they're bringing limits. One man limits 15 crappie over 9 inches on Lake of the Ozarks per day, and but just like Derek and Bill, they was there Saturday morning.
Mm-hmm.
They were there couple hours, catch over 100 crappie. I'm like, and that it's unreal. You
Mm-hmm.
can pull in one little pocket right now, you make 15 casts and have a limit of good ones, big
Yeah.
ones. So
How like they have a limit to it though.
Yeah.
How do you keep up with that? Is there like a place you go to
no, just
Find
if
us about-
you get
like when you go to the lake? How do you know like how much fish you can catch?
most of the times at all your public boat ramps, there's going to be a Corps engineer sign that's going to have your length limit and daily limit, possession limit. If not, I'd highly encourage you can just get on Google and Google
And look
what's
it
my
up.
daily
Like, keep
limit
it
on
up,
Lake of the
update
Ozarks.
it. I figured they have someone that goes there and there's probably somehow they probably keep track of it.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
That'd be an interesting job.
It would be. And that's, again, a lot of times then you're dealing with your, on the water conservation agents that'll be in.
Is that
in
is that
disguise.
conservation? Missouri Conservation? You think handles that?
Mhm. Yeah, they'll take care of all that.
Because the lake, it's just a state-owned lake.
Yeah, Corps engineers. Yeah,
Gotcha. That's very interesting.
pretty neat.
So let's go back to the insurance.
Yeah, we got off.
That's
You give me
perfectly
talk
fine.
about fishing and hunting.
Well, it's something that I've been interested in. I know there's so many people around here that are so big into it, but
Yeah.
I didn't grow up doing it.
Yeah.
I've never had a boat to actually go out on the lake and fish before, but
I'll tell
everyone
you,
loves it so much.
We're
that-
going to schedule that trip.
Yeah, I'm down
Soon,
anytime.
Very, very soon too.
Well, like what's the best time to do it? Like, is there seasons?
Right now.
Right
No.
now is.
Wintertime is always the best, always has been, but since the video gaming them with the Garmin Live Scope, right now is most definitely the best.
So like in the summertime, is it just different?
No,
Or is
it is. I mean, it's different, but it's just you're fishing different areas. Like
Sure.
you're still fishing the same schools of fish. A lot of times they get a little tighter in the brush piles. They get tucked up underneath the boat docks. So
'Cause of
then,
the heat.
then we're shooting docks with a little crappie jig. That's a lot of fun. Yeah, the heat boat traffic. I do firm. It's like in the summertime, all of our night bass tournaments are out during the nighttime. We'll
Oh.
fish from 8 p.m. to 7 a.m. Most of them.
Really?
Some of them are 7 to 7. It's due to, we want to put as little stress on the fish as we can in the live well. We like to take good care of our fish. Because in a bass tournament, then we always release them. And in the summertime, we're fishing a lot deeper. And the boat traffic is just,
Yeah.
especially since COVID, there's Lake of the Osage Beach is growing so much. A lot of people from California are moving from your big cities, and they're just like, and that lake is seeing 50, 55, 60-foot boats running up and down, and they don't get them up and go. They plow is what we call it.
Yeah.
You have 6-8 foot rollers, and that's not any fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of monny moving there.
lot
Aren't
of
they
money.
putting a casino in down there?
That's what I've been told.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
It will be
I would
interesting.
say that TV show, the Ozark or
Ozark,
whatever.
yeah.
I'm sure that helped
Yep. I
blow
would
it up
say.
as well a little bit. Yeah, so let's go
Yep.
back to
Insurance.
yeah. So we talked comprehensive, we talked liability, and then there's collision.
Collision.
So then collision is pretty self-explanatory.
It is, but if say we're at Walmart and then, this happens pretty much daily around the world in a Walmart parking lot. Somebody puts a car in reverse back up, but they accidentally dropped it and drive and hit the light pole. That falls under comprehensive.
Yeah, or
So-
maybe just backing up.
Or back
you
back
just
into
misjudge
it.
the
Yep.
your distance.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or if you back into somebody, that's going to be deemed collision. At
So-
fault accident.
So whenever someone says full coverage, when you're getting full coverage, you're just getting all of the packages.
Pretty much, you're going to have obviously you're going to have your liability limits.
Is it its own separate thing? When you're sitting on the computer, signing people up, filling their information in,
Yep.
Is it a package all on its own, or do you have to click
No, so
comprehensive?
I
and
do. I
collision?
do everything manually and through our computer system. But so here's a prime example. A lot of folks have these cars that maybe they have a nice older car, or maybe they have a car that they don't drive. They only drive it from March until October. I have several clients that have vehicles like that.
Like a
So,
classic, or just
well,
something-
or just
summertime
a
vehicle.
I have one of my best friends. He has a 2016 3/4 ton Dodge pickup, and it's got, I think it just turned 600 miles on it.
So
So,
keeps it very nice.
Very nice.
Doesn't
It's
see
brand
rain,
new.
snow,
No,
no
sits-
salt on the road.
Right, sits in the shop. So a vehicle like that, what we'll do, because again, I'm all about everybody's saving their money everywhere that we can. So whenever we're doing the policy review, we'll from October until March, we're going to drop all the liability limits. We're going to drop collision, but I'm going to put the comprehensive. Maybe he wants $1,000 comprehensive deductible. That's going to cover, if it burns, if he has it backed outside and a hailstorm comes in, beats it up, somebody breaks in the house and steals it. That's where we like to keep comprehensive coverage on it.
Gotcha.
And a lot of folks want to do something like that because maybe.
So you could set it up to where it's only certain months out of the
Right.
year.
Yep.
Now, do they have to pay for the year in advance?
No,
Do do that?
no. We can pay monthly. We can pay 3 month, and then we have a 6 month full pay, which then you obviously get a little bit more of a discount. And then we also do have a full month 12 pay discount as well.
But whenever, say they don't drive it till May. They
Yeah.
drive it from May to September.
Yeah.
Let's just say that. So January to May, it's just sitting in the garage.
It is.
And you just put liability and comp on it.
No, we'll drop the liability and we'll just leave a comp. But what we do have is me and them clients. What we do have is we have activities that we're only going to drive this car this date to this date, and then 1 week before they're going to drive it, then we're going to circle back and then we're going to put the liability limits back on, and then add the collision to it as well.
So how do you figure that up on the plan? Is it you figure it up as a year plan, figure out what the total
Yeah.
for the year is,
Mhm.
and divide it up by 12, and then it's an average
Oh,
monthly?
no, that's
Or does it change on them?
our system
Monthly?
Yeah, our system will automatically populate that.
So but okay. But there's going to be some months that are different.
Shouldn't be.
No,
It shouldn't be
so
unless
you guys average it out somehow.
Yeah. So unless
The program just does that on its
Yeah.
own.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, that's interesting. Just because it's like with things changing, how does it change? Like
it's
that? How does it-
only going to change. You're only going to see changes at renewal time. If if I'd sit here and say that your rates are never going to go up or down, I'd be the biggest liar of an insurance agent. But I've been told that before, as a consumer buying insurance when I was a younger guy. So with that being said, everybody, they like to call me. Obviously, I deal with very frustrated people. What these people don't understand is that, one, I'm human, right? And I do care too much. My wife, my family tells me I care too much about people, but that's okay because that's how I so choose to live my life. On your worst day, I'm going to be standing there and
Helping you
walking
out.
your hand, holding your hand. We're going to get through this together. But what the folks all these angry people that like to call me, what they don't understand, especially people who's been within my book of business through COVID. Once COVID started, our company actually sent, and we had a premium decrease, and we also sent refund checks out as well. So because people weren't driving as much, and that's another big cost driver too about that mileage. Most auto insurance companies, if you drive 20,000 miles a year, well, that premium is going to be a lot different on that car than if we set it at, say, 5,000 miles a year, right? You're going to pay more because you're paying for that risk.
That's part of the questionnaire when people come in.
It is.
Figure
Well,
out how many miles you drive.
that's what whenever I talk to them, and get to understand, if we have 5 vehicles on a particular family's policy, are we driving 40,000 miles a year? Are we driving 20? And that's all very key, important information, because, with again, going back to the policy review, them are the questions that I pull each policy and we go through them. Nope, I'm only driving 7,000 miles on this car. So we drop that. Now we just reduce the premium a little bit. Let's talk about your deductibles. I have a lot of folks that carry a $0 comprehensive deductible just for glass replacement. But, if you have a 2000 and you say like my old farm truck is 2004 one-ton Chevrolet. If I carry a $0 deductible, say my premium is just on that deductible, it's charging me, say, $250 over the course of 6 months. But if I raise this deductible up to $100 and say, now this brings me back to $150 on the premium, so there's $100 savings in 6 months. What we'll end up doing is
the $100 deductible.
Yeah.
And so you're not paying the deductible until the windshield's got to be replaced.
Right, until it has to be replaced. But if I'm paying $250 over the course of a full year, but a new windshield for that truck's only $150, well, then if I carry a $0 deductible for a full year, that's saving me $200.
Yeah.
That I just put back in my own pocket. And people don't realize this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so you're better off to have the $100 deductible and follow a little farther back from rock trucks.
Potentially. And again, you kind of set your deductibles on, if you're on a fixed income, insurance is a lot different than somebody that's out there working every day and
hustling very hard.
Yeah, it is.
I agree. Either way, though, you should still be paying attention to it because if you can save money anywhere you can, you should be saving money.
Right now's the time. And yes, I've lost a little bit of business, and I make sure before somebody does leave that we're talking about policy per policy, or maybe they have a better coverage per se. Then I'm going to be all for it. I want everybody to have the best deal that they can. I do know that it's a customer service that really. And I don't like to say that I sell myself because I'm not a salesman, right? I did win the 2023 Conference of Champions trip, which is a very much prized trip for the top 100 and I think they're taking about 150 agents. There's 1,300 something agents within Shelter. But again, I'm not a salesman. I like to talk to people on a personal note. And again, I get personal with certain people. I pretty much get personal with everybody. And some people, you don't need my social security number. Well, here's why I need it. Because in order to give you the best possible rate that I can give you, I need that social security number for your homeowner policy. And people don't realize that. Because your insurance, prime example, I just sold my 2021 Dodge Cummins I had, a real pretty one. And, gentleman, he's become a friend of mine that purchased it. He asked me a question: how much are you paying for the insurance on that truck? And I can't tell you that because there's a lot more that's insurance is based off of 2 big drivers: your motor vehicle record and your consumer report. So just because you bought my truck does not mean you're going to pay the same premium.
Right.
Your premium might be a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
And that's and certain
someone that's never had any accidents or no tickets,
right?
They're going to have much cheaper insurance. That's almost common sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pretty much exactly right.
Sure. That's very interesting. Have you heard of this How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie?
No, but I probably need to.
It's a very interesting book. And when you were just talking about how people are like, well, why do I need this? Like, why do you need my social security number in there? There's a section in the book where they just talk about kind of like winning conversations, and not so much like proving that you're right, because they talk about in there like there's no way to ever win a conversation. Like even if somebody's in the wrong, even if you prove them wrong, you're just destroying like their pride or their ego, and then it just ruins the relationship there in the conversation, and usually ruins the conversation. And they're like, it's a lose-lose anyway.
Yeah.
So you might as well leave them at that. But they talk about one way in it is to get rid of like all the no's and find a way to get them. They talk about like you want them to say yes twice in a row. And so they talk about how to do it, why it's important. And it's not so much of like, it's just maybe helping them, because some people get stubborn.
Oh, yeah.
They get stubborn on this idea.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not like, oh, I'm trying to prove you wrong because you're an idiot and I know everything. But they just get stubborn on ideas sometimes. And maybe I liked it because it was like the best way of maybe helping someone understand without hurting their ego so much. And just like when you're trying to have a conversation with someone and they just keep shutting you down, it's like talking to a brick wall. Sometimes if you can get them to start agreeing with you and let them know like, hey, we're both working towards the same thing here. We both want the same end goal. Let's see if we can agree on some things.
Sure.
And so that's something I learned out of the book, and sounds like maybe in a situation like that, it could be really helpful.
That.
I've been reading it now for like 2.5 years. I'm not a reader,
No.
like it's not something it's hard for me. I think I have ADD.
Yep.
And I think that's why I can get a lot of stuff done. I've learned to use it in my favor. But I also think it is a struggle for me because I want to sit down at night and I know I want to read the book, but I can't just sit down and read it.
Read a chapter and then your mind's constantly.
Yep. I'm like, what the hell's going on over here? I want to do this. Or I got this on my mind.
Oh, I need to get that done.
Yes.
And you're an entrepreneur. I mean, hands down, one hell of a businessman. And that's the mind frame. My mother she's my mentor whenever it comes to businesswoman. She's had a very, very successful career, and at the end of the day, she can sit down and read that book whenever she's got ADHD worse than she's a wild woman, right? Her hair's all wazoo and she's 150 mile an hour, but somehow always gets it done and can sit down and read that. So she'd be a good one to reach out to. And
did your mom own a business?
So she runs and operates my father's construction, my residential services here in town.
I just started using your dad for a lot of my work.
That's what I was just saying. Johnny, my dad's foreman, he told me he was over there, and so she is a regional manager for, I think the company's called Apex, and she started off. She's had several different career or jobs per se, but kind of in a line of the fire alarm system, burglar alarm system for these big corporate companies. She worked for Tyco Integrated Security forever, and then moved. It was bought out in, I think, 2010 or 12 or something from Johnson Controls, and made the move, and now made this switch. So she's extremely busy. Yes, she has a picture of that photography, and now grandma of four beautiful little babies,
which is quite a job on its own.
It is, and she helps us all out, and it's pretty amazing.
Do you have any siblings?
I do. I have one sister, Kenzie.
Older or younger?
She's younger.
Really?
You not remember her from school? Kenzie Meyer, the blonde?
How old is she? How old is she now?
What is she?
Do you know what year she graduated?
33, I think. I'm 35, so I think she's.
You're 35?
I'm 35.
I would never guess it.
You're all this great. Yeah.
Well, you take good care of yourself.
You
do take good care of yourself. And then, well, she would be 3 years older.
3 years older.
So she probably graduated in like 2009.
Yep, I think that's right.
Okay, yeah, that's probably why I don't know her then.
Yep.
For some reason, I thought you were. Around like 33.
Yeah, I wish I was. I don't feel like it. No.
Really?
No.
Well, because before you did insurance, you're in construction too, right?
Yeah, and
did you work for your dad or work for somebody else?
No, I worked for myself. So I was I was running two businesses. I had my sawmill business that kept me overloaded, and then ran.
Do you still do that?
So I still do have it. I'm not actively sawing. I'm in the process of selling it as well. And the problem was I had 6 years of my life that I worked 7 days a week, and I mean it was
hard work.
It was every evening was gone, dealing with people in the evenings, looking and bidding jobs and taking care of, making sure my my workers had work lined up, and then also going and building or doing the job during the day. And I did that for 6.5
So you did the
years.
sawmill, and you had also your own personal.
I'd run the sawmill on the weekends most time.
And then you did construction during the
During
week.
the week, yeah.
Holy cow.
Or I'd have guys working during the week, keeping a job going, and then have to go run the sawmill. It was a struggle. I was stretching myself out there, and it was fun, and I don't regret anything that I've ever done in my life. But as far broke my body down, it absolutely did.
Yeah.
And it was.
You did it at the right age, though, right?
I did. And this opportunity, I actually had interviewed for a shelter agency in Rolla, Missouri, about 7, 8 years ago, something like that. And my now manager, Mr. Fred Woodward, we'll give him a big shout out. He is an amazing person.
Is he out of Columbia, or was he?
He's out of in between Columbia and Jeff City, and he'll come in and pop in, and he's really been outstanding as a manager for me, because I'd always said I'd never work for somebody, and basically I do. I still own my own insurance business, but I have him to bounce everything off.
Shelter's a massive company.
Shelter is a massive company.
And so basically, you're basically like a franchisee of the company.
Yeah,
like you have your own
yeah.
place of business, your own storefront,
Yeah.
everything like that.
I'm a 1099 employee of Shelter Insurance.
Yeah. So you basically were doing the sawmill, you're doing construction. You did that right out of high school?
No. I do have the sales background. Went and got a little bit of college. I think I have an associate's degree in business marketing. And then I chose I needed to go make some money, and I worked construction for a couple of years, and then sold into corporate lifestyle for a little bit. It's quite a bit of traveling. I wasn't real big on that. Went back to construction, and
what was the company you worked for?
Tyco Integrated Security.
Oh,
so
okay.
we were putting in the burglar alarms, and I was going around and selling business.
So you're doing the sales for them?
I was, yeah.
You know what though? That is such a important thing. I think.
Yeah.
I think I regret not getting into a sales position
Mm-hmm.
like that, because sales teaches you a lot.
It does.
It's where you learn to talk to people,
It
learn how
does.
to learn rejection.
Yeah.
I wish I would have done it more.
Yeah,
I
that rejection is something a lot of people cannot handle.
Mm-hmm.
And I've learned to, I'm not going to make everybody happy. I get that.
You can't.
And I'm going to try my absolute best. What really bothers me is that whenever somebody doesn't give me an opportunity, and whenever I talk about not giving me the opportunity, they'll call in, they'll cancel their car insurance. Okay, that's okay with me as long as I can ask the question, and can we talk about is it apples for apples? No, don't worry about it. I got it cheaper somewhere else. That's good. I mean, I'm okay with that, because in 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, I'm pretty much guaranteeing you that they're going to come back to me, because just how it's insurance world.
Can I give you my opinion?
Oh,
and
yeah.
Take it for whatever you want.
Yeah.
I think what you're doing is great. The fact that you're on my podcast right now says something to me,
Sure.
and I think it's going to say a lot of things to other people, because sure, maybe everybody has like their own outlook on a lot of things. Like they're like, I'm not into social media. Social media is not my thing. I'm not really. I don't like being on my phone all the time. I agree.
Yeah.
I don't really like it either. I think
Right.
people that are on their phone all the time, I think it's toxic. I think TV's bad. I think being on Facebook and
do too.
Instagram and TikTok's all bad in a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, when I think being involved on social media for the purpose of showing people who you are in your business is very important.
It is.
And when you're in business, I think it matters, especially when you're in business that relies on your community.
Sure.
For your community has to support you just as much as you have to support your community.
Yes.
And so, like as a gym owner, it's my whole community that's supporting
sure.
me, and I want my community to know, like, I'm putting in as much effort as I can, and I'm not quitting anytime soon.
Absolutely.
And I see you have billboards
Oh,
all
yeah.
over the place,
Yep.
and I think to to be active on social media, whether I just think it would be one person that I look at in particular is Diane Thomas.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm name drop. I don't know if I should name drop
Absolutely.
or not, but and I use Morgan Hubner. He's my realtor. I love him to death. I mean, that dude is a super hard worker.
Oh, yeah.
Does amazing for me. But I have a personal connection with Morgan.
Yep.
And that's why it works out for me and him. But Diane Thomas, there is no way you don't know who she is.
That's
when
right.
it comes to buying a house, probably going to end up, like someone's probably going to end up at least looking into her if they want to use her.
Absolutely.
Because she has billboards all over the place. She has signs all over the place. If you go to Realtor.com or Zillow.com, when you're looking at a house, she's popping up.
Yeah.
Like whenever it gets to the end, they're like, contact an agent today. Even on my Realtor app, it has an ad that like every like 2 houses, 3 houses, there's an ad like, call this agent now. She pops up. She has, like, whenever I do advertising in the gym, she hopped on that immediately.
Yeah.
She's like, Ryan, put me on there. She's done it for 2 years in a row now.
Yep.
She's very active on social media. Every time her clients buy a house from her or sell a house to her, she's posting on there.
Yeah.
She's so active. And her posts are interpersonal.
Yeah.
And I say that as they're not just, she worked for, is it Remax?
Remax.
She does Remax. She's not taking a generic Remax post. I mean, maybe every now and then she is, like show the benefits that they do. But she's taking a picture of her clients, and it's not like me. I actually talking to the camera,
yeah.
and I'm like, hey, blah 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 blah, coming to the gym today, whatever. But she's just taking a picture, smiling, and saying, hey, thank you so much for your business, or hey, I have this house for sale. But she's got that interpersonal thing, and she shows people that she is active. She shows people that she is actively trying to do it. And I think that's what separates her from the rest.
Yeah.
I think that's why she's doing so good.
Yep.
And I think that that's why I mentioned Sam earlier on the podcast, because anyone that's doing business, a lot of them need help doing it. And she's the kind of person that she'll come out, she'll help you take photos, she'll come up with ideas for you, she'll post it for you. Whether you, Sam, or whoever, or you do it yourself, I think just showing people that you're active, and you got to do it consistently for a long time, because especially in the insurance agent or insurance world, there's a lot of different ones to go through.
It is.
And so when someone's looking for insurance, they're like, who do I call?
Yeah. And that's a big thing that I strive for, and that's with that customer service, and that the relationships I build within my people. And I've actively grown my business to an outstanding amount in the first 12 months that I was in office. But I'm getting the personal referrals. I'm writing insurance business. I mean, all the way up close to Iowa. I've wrote several homes down around Table Rock, Branson area, and even writing auto insurance all around the entire state. And that's the biggest deal is I want to thank the community of Owensville, of all of my clients. I'm getting ready it's going to be blasted in the newspaper. I just got my PDF for the 2023 Conference of Champions, and because it's with that support. But I can also tell you that in my first year with that support, I'm doing something right. Because let me ask you a personal question. Has not yours, but do you know of an insurance agent that'll pick up his phone at 11:45 at night, need a boat policy wrote because that's whenever it needed to happen?
Yeah.
And
a lot of times I would say, now I have an agent that's, I got his personal line just like yours.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to.
But you don't find that often.
Right.
But that's what we said. You need to get to know your agent.
Yeah.
And if you can't get to know your agent, maybe consider a different one. Because they're part of your team. You're paying every single month for this insurance that you're going to have for the rest of your life. You want to make sure that you can call the guy when there's a problem. When maybe your insurance gets raised and you're like, why is this going up?
And
you want to feel comfortable calling them.
Yeah, and that's a big thing too. I want everybody to call their insurance agent rather than get so frustrated and so upset. The first phone call you should make is to the agent.
Yeah.
And find out, hey, what? Hey, Kyle, what's going on here?
Yeah, they
Is
should
there
be
s-
a friend,
Is there something
not
we
an
can-
enemy. That are like,
is there
oh,
s-
this guy's
yeah.
not going to help me
Is
out.
there something we can do? Well, yeah, there actually is a lot of things we can do. Come on in. Let's schedule time. Come on in and let's get this worked out.
Yeah, I think you should because when someone, and I say you should take it however, but like say you get a referral from whoever,
Oh,
wherever,
yeah.
or maybe they see your billboards because you
Yep.
got billboards all
Oh
over.
yeah.
First thing most people do, they go to Google or they go to Facebook,
Yep.
and they look up Kyle Meyer Shelter Insurance.
Yeah, I think
and they
I
look
have
you up.
one big whopping review.
Really?
I think so.
And but you could talk to people on Facebook
to
and
get
ask
'em-
them to get
yeah.
some more reviews and ask because you see it all the time and
Yeah.
it helps.
It does.
You know, if I looked up Kyle Meyer Shelter Insurance, I'm like, is this a guy I want to use? And I go to look at your page, and it's dead.
Yeah.
Because I've looked at businesses that they don't even look like they're alive anymore. They
Sure.
haven't posted since 2019. And I'm like, are they still in business?
Mm-hmm.
I've seen people that commented on the business page, on just a random page, like a photo or something. They're like, does anybody know how to get a hold of this company? I can't even get a hold of them. That looks bad.
Yeah,
You know,
it
and
does.
if someone's posting every day or at least weekly, it builds up over time.
Sure.
And then so like maybe a year from now, someone comes to look for Kyle, and Kyle's been posting all the time, like, hey, I want to help you. I will answer your phone
Yeah.
call at midnight.
Yeah.
And I'll set your policy up at midnight. I want to help you out and do the best I can, or whatever. You know, like I think it matters, and I think
It does, and you know, and that's another thing. Word of mouth is, especially here in Owensville area, our local area. That word of mouth is everything, right? Which me and you know that because if you do one bad thing in a small community,
Yep.
you get a bad name, buddy. You're done.
Yep.
So and again, I operate insurance, my business, a lot different than different than any experience I've ever had. It's working. It's the way I'm going to continue to do business. I meet people in the evenings and weekends. That's
Yeah.
when people have time that they can meet. And I work for my community. Another big thing, and I'm going to give a big shout out to. I am the president of the Mid-Missouri Fishing Team right here locally in Owensville. It's a team. We have a junior program and we have a youth program. It's for the high school and middle school kids. You know, I feel like as much as the community has given me, I'm giving back.
Yeah.
And going.
what's the fishing program
So
entail?
so it's we're affiliated with the National TBF, which is the Bass Fishing League or Bass Fishing Federation, the Bass Federation, and we have state, we have our youth local club, which we highly encourage all adults 18 years over the age of 16 years. I think they have to be 18 in order to be able to join and be an actual boater. And then we have a junior program from 6th grade to 8th grade, and then we have the youth program, which is through high school. But we'll compete on I'm about educating fishing. I want to talk fishing. I want to teach these kids. I took this club over. I think we had 4 or 5 members. Just last weekend, we had our first official public. It was supposed to be a practice, but turned into more of a get all these kids signed up because I walked into Precision Power Sports here in Owensville, and we had, I think, 12 or 13, 14 something new kids.
Wow.
And with all their parents, and they're all standing there like, where do we sign up? Where do we need to, you know, there's little, I think $25 membership dues. We probably need to have another podcast about that.
Well, let's talk on it just briefly.
Yeah.
So, what's it entail? Like when someone joins this club, what's it entail? You guys take them out on a boat?
We do. So we'll have. And get everybody that's interested, get out there in Missouri. Has middle school or high school kids. Look up the Missouri Mid-Mo Fishing Team on Facebook, like the page. We have a tournament schedule. I think we do.
You guys could travel all over for these tournaments.
We will. We're only going to have, I think, 2. We're going to have 2 tournaments. One at Lake of the Ozarks, one on Mark Twain, and then we're going to have one, I think, at Indian Hills Lake over in St. James. The rest of them are going to be at Peaceful Valley. And the reason we do have a Peaceful Valley Lake tournament is, you know, in hopes that we have enough boats for all the kids that can go fishing. But me, because my across the back of my jerseys is coach, I'll go from boat to boat to boat and work with each one of these kids, even in a tournament format, hands-on, to get them to understand. Bass fishing teaches you discipline, and I feel like, you know, that's the biggest thing that saved me in high school from being a real bad kid. I never was the one that drank. I'd go to parties, sure, on a Friday night. I'd leave there by 9:45, but I was always the one that was going around visiting, drinking Gatorade because I had a bass tournament the next morning. I was always broke, still am because I'm a bass fisherman.
Yeah.
But that taught me. My parents were always okay if I ever needed help. You know, maybe I needed an extra $40 for gas or something. They kept me fishing, and that kept me away from the drugs. It kept me away from the alcohol. I was always fishing with the older guys or something. I'd always had a buddy that'd step in. So that's why it's big. I know that
people need something to do.
It
At
is.
the end of the
It
day,
is. And
they need like something that
it is.
The gym for me, or
Yeah,
even when I was
gym.
young, I was a skateboarder. But kids need sports to play.
Yeah.
Even like I even think video games are, but I think they can be a little definitely can be consuming. But you give a kid nothing.
Sure.
He's gonna find
He's
something
gonna
to do.
find something to do.
Yeah.
We want him to. We want him.
They got
to,
energy.
We do.
They're gonna
And-
find a way to get rid of it.
And we want to keep them in the outdoor atmosphere. You know, my board of directors are absolutely amazing with what Tina Lenauer, she's our treasurer. She goes above and beyond. Jeff Jones, he's my vice president. Got James Benton just right down the road, and Eric McCormick, another one right down the road, and everybody that's on my board of directors. They are just truly amazing people. We want to do this for the kids. And
Do you guys have T-shirts?
We are getting T-shirts made.
You guys have sponsors?
We have.
I like to sponsor if I can get my logo put on a T-shirt.
It's not gonna. That will go on our jersey, and this is after the podcast. One thing, because I need a PDF of the fitness parlor especially, and we're getting ready to put our jersey order in. It's really a neat program to keep our kids fishing away from alcohol and drugs, and
now, like when they join, do they have to come with their own reels?
No, they don't.
Rods?
No, because
like that?
everybody.
You guys provide everything.
I will never, and that's another statement that I've always said. I'll never leave a kid on the bank and not take them fishing. You know, just whenever my oldest boy, he's getting ready to be 5 next week. The last couple of years, I'd be put my bass boat in a pond or something. There'd be kids walking around, I'd pick them up and take them. They don't have to have anything. I do highly encourage it, but at the end of the day,
you want to get your own stuff. Get your own stuff.
I would highly encourage it, but at the end of the day, there's a cost to that as well. And so we are actively raising money as a club to purchase. We have a great support system. We're getting ready to. I won't say any names with the rod and reel companies, but we're getting ready to get all that launched, and they're going to donate a lot of items. Yeah.
I asked that because I remember being a kid that probably would be one of the kids that if I could get a rod and reel, it'd probably be a cheap one, and it probably wouldn't even be good enough for a lot of the stuff you guys did. And not only that, but I wouldn't even know where to
begin.
And so it'd be nice to know that as a kid that I want to learn how to fish, I could join a club that is relatively really cheap. $25 is pretty easy to come up with, and then you guys have this stuff to do, and you could just go and join it.
Oh yeah.
And then maybe you do it for a year, and then learn what you want, or like try out all these different rod and reels. My big thing was, as a kid, I was very shy. I was very introvert because of the way I was raised, and so like I wouldn't have been the one that if I showed up to this club, I'd be the one that stood off, was very standoffish and quiet.
Yep.
Because I probably wouldn't know anyone there. And I would hope that like someone like you would be like, hey, get them involved.
Yeah,
because even like when I played sports, I felt like my coaches didn't help me get involved.
Sure.
Like I was just a quiet one, and I couldn't speak up. that like, hey, I need to learn how to do this. And so they just kind of just let me get pushed
Yeah.
off to the side, and they just worried about the ones that were doing good.
The one that's a big thing.
I didn't like that.
No, and as a coach, and I want to be a mentor to a lot of these kids. As a coach, that one that's sitting there in the corner, that's going to be my buddy, because he or she may not be comfortable right now, but you give me about 3 months with that individual, and we're going to have him winning tournaments.
Yeah, and a lot of times that's all they need.
It is.
They need to know that they're not.
A confidence built.
Because even if they come for like 1 or 2 times and they feel like they're not welcome, they're probably going to leave.
Yeah, they are, and
That's
we don't
even
want that.
Even like that at the gym. Like when someone comes to join the gym, I try to make sure I get to know everyone. I try to talk to everyone and try to get them comfortable. I give them free workout plans.
Sure.
Because I want them to know, like, hey, this is a place that everyone's welcome.
Yeah.
And this is a place that everybody should come. And I want to make sure, like, because there's people who come in there, like, people are just judging me.
Yeah.
I'm out of shape. I'm too skinny. I'm too fat, whatever. I'm like, no, it's not like that at all.
No, we're all a big
here.
support system for you and everybody in that gym.
Yeah.
You bet.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's cool. And I'm definitely interested in sponsoring it. Even if it's just a logo
That'd be
on
fine.
a T-shirt or something like that. I'd love to get involved in it.
We appreciate that.
Cool. It looks like we're pretty close to an hour and a half in. Do you have anything else you really want to talk about?
You know, the only thing I guess I'll end it with this is right now, and it's such a terrible time in the insurance world. It's not terrible; it's just hardship. But my biggest thing for everybody out there listening, if you're not happy about something, just know that it is not your insurance agent's fault, and he or she cannot they have no control over what's happened.
Yeah.
But it's a good idea to reach out to them, go sit down with them. If you're still not satisfied, if you don't have that personal communication with them, then, I'd say maybe look elsewhere, but just know to stand behind them, support them.
Because you guys are you guys do the policy for them. You guys write up the policy.
Oh, yeah.
But you guys have to send it off.
It
gets sent off to somewhere else.
Our underwriting teams will sit there and review it. Yep.
Yeah.
Make sure everything's right. But, the biggest thing is, did another agent write this up before you had say you got a new insurance agent? Who wrote the policy? That's why I tell everybody at least once a year, it's good. Just make it a practice. Take out 45 minutes out of your day, schedule an appointment with your insurance agent, go in, sit down, talk with them, review it, maybe to shave off some of that auto, maybe let's take a look at a $500 deductible versus a $100 collision deductible. There's ways to save and ways to help, and I just highly encourage that, really.
So it doesn't hurt just once a year. Just go ahead and be like, is there anywhere we can revamp to help?
Yeah. Did you buy a new
reshape?
Did your tractor? Maybe you sold that tractor that's on your farm owner policy. Maybe you sold it over the summer. Well, we need to know about that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I got a Camaro right now that I sold that I need to get off my policy.
Yeah, you do.
Just
and then
sitting
just
there.
backdate it to when you sold it.
Yeah, I need to do that. I just recently sold it, but yeah, I got a GTO that's been sitting for been in the body shop. Like when something was about something like that. Say like I had my GTO I put in the body shop for like 3 months. Does someone drop an insurance for that, or you keep it in case something happens?
No,
you definitely want to keep it.
Yeah,
for
I would
that.
leave the insurance on it.
Okay. All right. Well, Kyle, let's wrap this up.
Hey, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah.
Before you get out of here today, I want you to sign.
Oh, I'm going.
Sign my banner.
I will.
And then anyone that's listening, make sure to go find Kyle on all social medias. Give him some love, like it. What's the name of the fishing?
Mid-Mo Fishing Team.
Go give that some love,
Yep.
like it, share it with everybody else. If you guys can, make sure to like the podcast, share
Absolutely.
the podcast, subscribe. I really want to get to 1,000, so make sure you guys subscribe. And thank you guys for tuning in.